All right, guys. So I'm picking up a multimeter tomorrow, but I have to power this to test it anyway. And it turns out I don't even need one to know where the failure is. Okay. So powering up, even dead wide open, the injectors, I do not pop a 5 amp fuse. So that's an idiot proof way of proving I'm not pulling more than 5 amps. Now, with the microsquirt not grounded, okay, that way I'm not testing for a voltage drop. And 12 volts applied to the injector power through a fuse, of course. I'm going to ground out this high impedance LED. Okay, so that now if I touch said high impedance LED to power, it lights up. And this is an idiot's way of testing something, okay? Now you should see some light. I'm going to stick this under here so you can see some light. And this is all because diagnostic time's expensive. You know how long the setup took? About 15 seconds. Alright, so those are my MOSFETs for my ignition drivers. The one on the right, over here, is the one that's having an issue. So on the feed side of it, you see that flash? I've got 12 volts. I should. Now this is the signal side. Over here. This is the side. See that? We got 12 volts. In here. 12 volts. So all the pins on that are getting 12 volts. Now, do some pointing here and explain to you how this works. The power from the injector driver comes in the backside here on a pin. It comes in, goes through a whole bunch of protection circuits, which obviously failed, and is gated so it cannot come out this pin over here, unless 8 volts is applied to this pin over here. Now, somewhere in here, that failed across and is applying this power to both that pin and that pin, allowing it to leak. Now, here's the thing. I'm looking at multiple weeks of turnaround time to have them desoldered 1, 2, 3 pins, pop this MOSFET off, and replace $1.13 part. So I am going to Friday go ahead and order a hot air soldering kit and everything I need. You can tell by the scale from the zip tie, it's bloody tiny. So we're going to heat this up, pop it off a board, clean up those pads, re-tin them, put a little bit of solder paste on them, just a touch. Heat it up with that sitting on it, and it should set right down on them pads. Should solve our problem. Conveniently enough, I can break this several times now because you can't buy these individually. Well, you can, but the easiest way to get it in a hurry was to order a whole buttload of them. So that MOSFET failed. And I will note that the reason that MOSFET failed has not been found yet. It's suspected I have an intermittent short in an injector. And the only way to safely eliminate this failure, oh good, I just broke the pin, is to put one of these suckers in line. Which is my mistake, because I had it all running off of one big feed wire. Hence why we now have 2 separate wires. Injector bank 1 and injector bank 2. Each is going to go through a 5 amp fuse. I'll probably do 4 amp because I should, by math, by Ohm's law. Okay, Ohm's law. V equals Ri. 13.6 volts divided by each of these injectors is roughly 13 ohms. We'll go in the low end, right? 13 ohms in parallel makes it 6.5 ohms. So 13.6 divided by 6.5, it comes out to right at around 2.93 or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I did it earlier. So I'm only drawing about 2.93 amps. So we'll figure 3. I'll put a 4 amp fuse in it, and I should be well and truly protected.